Well, I'm out in the garden here, and I was going to show you a little bit here. We've been getting a lot of tomatoes, and I'm going to pick them off here. We've been getting a lot of rain too, and if you let them go too long, when they start turning ripe like that, they want to split. They want to split open, and this old vine's gotten weighted down, and I normally keep them up a little bit. You know, a tomato like that, I'd like to leave a little bit longer, but it's such a pretty tomato, and they'll ripen in the window at the house. But like I say, I'll come out here if I left them much longer, and they'll be split open. This cooler weather, we're starting to have a little bit cooler at night. Not just horribly cool, but it's down around 70 at night instead of being in the 80s. And my tomatoes have just really taken off. And we've had a bunch of wind, and my tomato cages, I've got a wire ran down through there, but they're trying to blow over here and fall over. And these old storms have been something else. We didn't get a whole lot of tomatoes for spring, but we're starting to get a bunch now in the fall of the year. And right here's one, if you can see that there, that's actually got some cracks. Now it's okay. My wife will use that first and slice them. Probably slice that one up tomorrow. If it's okay, she'll slice it up, and we'll have it with one of our meals or on a sandwich or something, or in a salad, and go ahead and get rid of it. But I try to pick these every other day, and I usually get a quarter to a half of a 5-gallon bucket of tomatoes. I mean, it's not just tons of tomatoes, but it's enough to get going. Something has helped themselves to that tomato. Probably a squirrel, the way the markings are on it. It looks like a squirrel has ate on it. And I don't know why, but this cooler weather and the rain combined sure makes them want to start splitting. But as I was saying, we didn't get a whole lot this spring like we usually do, but we're starting to get enough now at least to have tomatoes when we want. And these here tomatoes are some kind of a heirloom tomato. And oh, I have forgotten. If you see them, you probably know just by looking. Whoops, I dropped that one. But they're kind of a funny shaped little tomato, and they're a heirloom variety. And my wife got these from Baker Seed Company and started them as little plants. And and anyway, every once in a while I'll get something that's rotten, and if they're rotten, I just throw them over the fence and let the chickens and the guineas eat them up. But anyway, they're whatever kind these are, and I'll have to ask my wife later. But they are a funniest looking tomato. Now taste wise they do fine, but I like a good old slicing tomato, something that you can slice up that'll fit over a sandwich, or just slice up and eat. And them little old long oblong things. But she's kind of wanting to get into some of the heirloom varieties, so whatever makes her happy. Uh-oh, I got a pepper plant blew over here, and these peppers are loaded down, and that one there, it fell off. So these are those big Bertha bell peppers, and I got some off that was like this long, but big old round ones. And this fall crop's going to be a little bit smaller, but they're still loaded. I've been leaving them as long as they don't get sunburnt and just letting them get a little bit bigger. One thing we've had this year is plenty of peppers and plenty of cucumbers. Our cucumbers have just done wonderful. This here's another type of variety that my wife planted, and she could tell you, I'm trying to get her to start helping me with this YouTubing, but she's bashful, and some of the YouTube community can be kind of mean at times, and most everybody's very nice, but it's like it is in the real world. You've got some good people, mostly good people, and you have a few bad people. And I deal with people every day and know how people are, so it doesn't seem, I don't really care so much. Most people just show their ignorance when they're act ugly, but I don't get too awful concerned about that. But she does, and she's afraid to get on camera, and so anyway, maybe she'll get braver eventually. I'm probably not doing a very good job here on the camera. There's one that's a little rotten. You get a few this time of the year that split open and rot, and like I say, I feed them to that one there. It's probably be okay, but we've got so many in the house now that I feel like I left this dill plant here, and it's about ready to be picked. In fact, that one broke over. It could be picked off. My wife will take those seeds and let them dry and put them up, use them next year. I usually have a whole bunch of dill, but I only had this one dill head come up this year. In fact, I may just let the seeds go back in it. Usually they come up voluntary. And but anyway, you might have seen I had okra planted down through here, and the rabbits ate it all up. So I replanted black-eyed peas, and they have really come up and looking good. I've planted 2 rows. I got another row on over here in the garden. We love black-eyed peas, and I don't know why, but anything you grow of your own is just always so much better. And I don't care what it is. You raise your own chicken, it's better. Raise your own pork, black-eyed peas, whatever. It's just great. And here is some heirloom peas. My wife, we went last year on vacation, and we went by Baker's Seed up in Missouri, and she got a little packets of seed, and they gave her, seems like, 1 free packet. I think if you go there, they'll let you pick out. And this here was Jacob's cattle, something like that. So as you can tell, that little bunch of there, that probably ain't going to do us much good, this little bit of beans. But she'd gotten a little package of them up there, and she wanted me to plant them this fall, so I've got them. And she says those grow up a panel, so I was going to let them grow up this first time to grow them. And them other little peas down there that's real short, I really something she called them, and man, my mind's just went blank. And I had little stakes out here with little things she made for me, and I put out here so we could remember the name. And now, oh, right there it is, if I can read the little marker. Jacob's cattle. So this here must be Jacob's cattle, this little bit right here. And then I'll look here and see if I can find the little, I don't see the marker. But anyway, it's a good thing to mark stuff like that down. But I had something come up here I was going to show you. My cucumbers, some of them just stayed on the vine and rotted. And there's a big old clump of cucumbers coming up. And right down here is a few. Right there coming up. So, as you can see, I still got cucumbers on the vines. All the vines have died, but I just left them. We had so many cucumbers, I just finally quit picking them up. But where some of them rotted at, there is cucumbers coming up voluntary. But this is the 1st of September, and I don't think those will make it. But I'm going to leave them. If we have a late frost, which we a lot of times will have a very late frost here, and if we do, well then we'll be set up good. I've tilled up all this area over here. It's got this open area here. I'm going to sow in turnips, and I wished I already had them on there. I wanted to plow it up one more time down through here, till it up real good, and I just sow them on the top. I'll try to do a video on that when I plant them. But we love turnips, and I'll have a big turnip patch. There's other people I know that like them. This is another row of my black-eyed peas here. And anyway, this row's coming on good. I've had a little bit of rabbit trouble on them. A few rabbits have, boy, they've ate on them a little bit, but they haven't hurt them too bad. But we've had so much rain, I think that's really helping. And then we got our hot peppers over here. And I want you to look at the sight of peppers in here. Green, red. We have more peppers than what we'll ever need. My wife takes them and seasons things with them, and she'll make a few jars with just pepper juice. My sister, one of them, lives up in Missouri, and she loves hot pepper juice. But as you can see, these dudes are just loaded down, and no way we'd ever need all them peppers. Well, you know, we give them away if people want them. Now these red ones, we were thinking about taking and making us like stringing them up and letting them dry. And like you see, the Mexicans have a lot of that. And then this here jalapeno plant, I have picked these two plants, and you can see how big those things are, and we really don't need them now. But my wife has canned them and made some kind of candy out of them and stuff, and I forget what they call that, but I've seen some of the other YouTube people make the same stuff, some kind of candy, jalapeno candy or something. Anyway, let's look at that. Hey, that's this week on the homestead. Just a little overview there. I just got stuff back in today for my GoPro. I had some problems with it, and it was actually ended up I ordered a new GoPro, but it's actually the card that goes in it had actually messed up, and so we got that figured out, and got a new card for it, and it's working now. I really like using the GoPro. I've got a little Sony camera, and it works good, but it's if you get out here in the weather like this at all and it gets wet, I had another one and it got just a little bit wet and it ruined it. And with these rains, it's clouding up like it could rain, and this GoPro's pretty waterproof. But after making about 150 videos with it, well, my SIM card, I guess, just wore out, so I got a new card for it. And I sure appreciate you watching us here at Cedar Creek Homestead, and if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, and if you'd subscribe, we'd appreciate you subscribing to our channel. And we appreciate all the comments always, and we've had some very good comments and questions. And if you happen to have a question, about something here. I'm fixing to plant some radishes and lettuce and stuff in the next few days for kind of a fall garden, fixing to plant the turnips, get some things like that going, and time's kind of running out. It's time to get after it, so we're trying to get stuff done and show a few videos. But I appreciate you watching this week on the Homestead, and hope you have a wonderful and blessed day, and we'll see you next time. We're gone.